Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Once again, it is Sovereign Saturday. The path to sovereignty takes work. The path to sovereignty. Now, I've been talking about becoming a sovereign man for a while, but just understand one simple thing. It's not something overnight. It's not something that you watch one video. Indeed, you can watch 100 videos on becoming a sovereign man, and you still got to do some work. You still got to apply it because there are no tricks, no shortcuts or anything. You're talking about having some control in all areas of your life, all areas of your life. You know, I had someone hit me up privately, wanted to become that sovereign man in all areas. And it had to be a young man because the way he asked the question, it would seem like I could just explain it in a paragraph. It's like, no, if it was that simple, I wouldn't need to do these videos. Oh no, there's so many things. Shoot, there's only so many things I can talk about in this video. Just understand, you got to work towards it. Let's think about it. If you're talking about being sovereign as far as your finances, your money, even if you were to win a lottery, you still really wouldn't be sovereign because before you even get to that point, you got to have the right mindset. And it's not something like that. If you don't have it right this minute, you got to work towards it. It could take years to change your mindset about something, especially as an adult. If you catch a teenager or even a child early, oh yeah, you can do something with them. You can teach them something. But you're an adult. You're somebody who's, you've developed a way of thinking, habits, good and bad. It takes a while to change that. And if you don't have that sovereign mindset already, it takes a while to change to it. Like the best you can do is just say you're going to work towards it. But one of the things when you're working towards anything, obstacles come up. So even working towards that mindset. And then if you're talking about money, if you're talking about having control over your life, you got to work to become that leader. Now, I don't use the term alpha or beta, but I'll use it in this context. You want to become the alpha of your space. That takes some work. That takes some work to have total control, which means if you have something in you that's blaming the theys for everything and say they did this, or even trying to put the theys down like some other people, you're not there yet. You're not there. And then you got to work, you got to have the mindset to be independent. Because many people, yes, we're all connected, but to some extent, you have to be able to strive and follow your own path. And yes, I've talked before about a sovereign man can possibly be a leader. Even then, to even get to that point, he has to forge his own path. And it takes work. Or if we talk about being sovereign in your relationships, and what I mean by that is you have options, you have control. Okay, well, you have to develop what it would take to even attract. If we're talking about attracting women, okay, I always talk about body game. That takes work. If you have some attitudes that's preventing you from getting women, that takes work to deal with them. It all takes work. Nothing's easy. You know, we hear these stories about these millionaires and billionaires and everything. And we see how they're living. Or we see somebody look like they just had their life together. Oh, it didn't pop out like that. Oh, they had to make some mistakes. You know, you have to be able to, one issue is you have to be able to learn. You got to be able to learn from your mistakes and learn. You know, you might have to study. You might have to humble yourself. Let me talk about that. Because the things you need to become sovereign, you probably have to learn it from somebody. You have to be able to listen and apply good advice. And really, you have to be able to listen and have some experience and work to know if the advice is good to begin with. But it takes work. It takes work. And I'm going to tell you what, it's not a singular destination where you can just get there like, yes, I'm sovereign now. It was like, you got to work to maintain it. Even if you get to a place where you can say, you know what, I have control over where I live. I have control over my relationships, you know, my money, everything. I'm doing what I want. Okay, now you got to maintain it. That takes some work. You got to develop the ability to maintain something. Plenty of people, like let me use a lottery example. Plenty of people get money. They get millions. And then it's gone the next year. They didn't have the discipline to manage their money. And just going through life, you got to work to develop even discipline. That's not something that comes automatically. And we don't live in a type of culture that encourages it, you know? You have to work to develop that level of discipline. That takes work. It takes work, because it's easy just to let go, because, you know, you do some crazy stuff. Oh, it's just being crazy, you know? And especially if you're in a position where other people can clean up after you, that's really tough. The reason why I say it's tough, because if you are going through life and expecting somebody else to take care of your messes, you're not being sovereign. One thing a sovereign man is always going to be is very responsible for his existence. He's going to be responsible. You got to work to take responsibility. Because the easiest thing on the planet is to blame others. When you get in that bad relationship, it's easy to blame all the women. You know, you get fired from the job, oh, they just couldn't handle you, you know? Instead of making yourself, part of sovereignty is making yourself to the point they don't want to fire. In fact, they want to give you a raise. You can even just hint that you're looking at something else, they give you more money. You want them begging you. You want them offering you stuff. That's part of sovereignty. But you got to work to get to that point, no matter what. There are no shortcuts. There's no quick fix. Whatever you want in life, even if you don't want to use the word sovereignty, whatever you want in life, you have to work for it. But see, here's the beauty of it. When you work for something, when you truly work for something and you achieve it, there's no greater feeling. Nobody can take it from you. That's the beauty of it. Because once you have the sovereign mindset, no matter what happens, they can't take it away from you. No matter what happens. Yeah, I mean, you could be a prisoner of war, and yeah, they holding your body, but not your mind. And you have to be that way. But it takes work to build to that. Unless you already have it, and you just watching this for confirmation, you're going to have to work for whatever you want. That is very important. Very important. So for all the sovereign men out there, the future sovereign men, do the work. Be ready to go to work, all right? So that's all I have for right now. Keep rising to be that sovereign man. Peace and blessings, everyone.